So today here at McMillan, we were diagnosing a cylinder or head gasket issue. And we had found today that when we had ran the pressure tester system with the unit running, that the system was building past 15 psi, which is what the vent cap is rated to, as we want pressure inside the coolant system to raise the boiling point of water. So after we had found that was happening, we eliminated another issue, which was basically disconnecting this discharge line off your compressor, which then takes the compressor out of the situation, which could also put more pressure into our coolant system as well as we run coolant through the head of the compressor. So once that was disconnected, we ran the unit again at 1200 RPM up, and it ran past another 15 psi all the way up to 20, proving that we have combustion gases getting into the coolant system through the head gasket scenario.
Hey guys, it's voiceover time again. So right here you see Cody, he's pulling all our valve covers, getting this thing ready to get torn apart. She's got a head gasket leak, as he described earlier. And so you got to get all the valve covers off. You're going to pull the spacer plate and get this thing opened up. So right here you can see Cody's marking everything up, 1, 2, 3 on the Jake heads. We're going to start unbolting the rockers and pulling all that stuff out. So now that everything's marked up and you know, marked, we can strip everything down, start just grabbing an impact. When we're on disassembly, we don't really worry too much about torquing and anything like that. Just impact will do. Kind of rip it apart, get it torn down as fast as we can. Try to save on efficiency there. So here he's getting all the bolts out. He's making sure everything's loose. And as you watch him undo those bolts, you can actually see the springs and all the tension start releasing out of the rockers. So you see he's checking his bolts now. He's going to pick that whole head right up. These things are small, but they're surprisingly heavy. And if you watch the way Cody moves, like when he picks them up, he kind of holds them cradled, and then he slides down the tire like a slide. I always kind of find it funny the way we do it, but every mechanic does it. It's a pretty awkward way to work, but you know, it's good. Okay, so now that we got all the Jake heads off, well, he's pulling number 3 right here. He's going to start pulling all the rocker shafts. And then we're going to move on to our injectors and our bridges. I think he pulls his bridges as he pulls the rockers, but we'll see. Just follow on and take a look. All right, so here Cody is just ripping off the rocker shafts and all the rockers. He's already pulled some of the bridges. And if you watch, he's just going to, it's kind of they don't look that big, but they're actually quite heavy. I haven't weighed them, but, they're solid steel and they're quite large, so they're pretty heavy. Yeah, and they all go squirrely. Every time you pick them up, they just kind of want to roll around and flip you and sometimes pinch your nose. Get your nose hair in there. Oh, new gloves. Yep, that's an engine. So right here you can see he's lifting up, he's pushing down on the back of the rockers so that he can pull up on the bridges and just kind of set them all off to the side. And then he can pull the rocker shafts. Now that time, if you watched, he grabbed all three and lifted it off a little different. So that makes your life a lot easier. Is just the way you pick them up will definitely help huge in disassembly and reassembly. Okay, here's Cody. We're going to start pulling our injectors. Oh, sorry, he's just pulling the last rocker shafts here. And then we're going to pull our injectors. Last rocker shafts out. And here he goes. He's going to mark those down. So now we're pulling our injectors. So we're going to get our hold downs. Now these injectors are held in by like a fork and then one bolt, and then the way the bolt works is just kind of with leverage. It creates a clamping force on the injector, and that's what holds us down to our seat. Now, you guys can't see this in the video, obviously, but actually when we had this head tested after we pulled it off, we had 3 injector cups that were leaking as well, so we sealed up those. We had a little bit of warpage in the head. They decked it before it went back on, so it's going to be perfect when she goes back together. But you can't see that in the video, so. But I thought I'd tell you. So the way he's going to pop these out, he's going to use a heel bar. I don't know if he has a tool in his hand yet, but he's going to use a heel bar, and he's just going to you just kind of get underneath that fork area and just kind of give it a quick, like, pry, pop. There's a bit of a technique to it, but it's not overly hard, and they just kind of pop right out. And then we always make sure that whatever injector comes out of whatever hole goes back in that hole. So you're going to see him, he starts marking everything here as to what injector is going to go where. He's marking his wires so that he knows the orientation, so they go back the same way. And, just being diligent in his work, of course, to make sure everything goes back exactly the way it took apart. So that's that. Okay, now that everything's been marked and the wiring has been taken off super carefully, now we're going to start popping our injectors out. So I'm just going to pop it out, lift it up, line it up on the bench. We always put everything in line. Even though they are marked, we still line them all up on a table. So everything goes back in sequence, in order, and in place. There's the heel bar, a little bit of pry, injectors up. Smack, smack. And smack, smack. That was number 4, cylinder number 5. This was our problem child on our head gasket. Smack, smack. Oh, nope. Smack, smack didn't work on that one. Oh, gentle. Careful. A little bit more. No, less. Wait. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes a lot of this just takes a fair amount of patience. And now, of course, the tool we're using doesn't fit because the doghouse is too tall. So we're going to go to a short little thing. Oh, and pop, pop. There we go. It also helps that Cody knows what the he's doing. Swear word. Okay, here's our head gasket after we pulled our head. We're going to show you our failure point here at cylinder number 5. Close up. Closer. Closer. Now, if you see right, well, I'm pointing at it, but you can't see my hands, but there's a split in the fire ring here on cylinder number 5. And you can see it's blown out to the head bolt, and then that was leaching back to our coolant passage. Okay, so here we're taking all our liner protrusions and measuring our deck flatness and everything like that. Well, he's just doing liner protrusions right now. And we're just checking to make sure everything's, gonna fit tight and we're not gonna have any big gaps anywhere. Make sure that our head gasket's gonna seal again and we're not gonna have any other problems. We ended up with about a 3 thou variance between every cylinder, which is very minor. And, within one liner, we only ever had maybe 2 thou. And then between all of them, we only had about 3 or 4. So really good measurements and everything. Everything looks good. So she can go back together.